Mary Poppins, y'all! So the Shackness is backness, and wow, it's been since, how long is it? 94? So that's what, 6 years plus 18, 24 years? What? Since the first game came out, and instead of a fighting game from EA, we're now getting a game.
Beat 'em up.
Yeah, beat 'em up that cost them, what, at least raised $450,000, I guess, to make this game.
Just goes to show you the power of Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Yeah, when it works, it works. I really like this game. Just it's fun. I wouldn't say it's super hard. It's
pretty easy once you get the flow of it.
Yeah,
I like the tongue-in-cheek humor.
Yeah, the charm. I think that's really what sells this game. The charm really sells this game, and yeah, like it's kind of a shame there's no multiplayer, but I think if you want a game, I think right now it's on sale 75% off. I think it's normally 5 to 10. It might be a little bit more. It is a fun game. Like, honestly, there aren't a lot, in my opinion, of good beat-em-ups on Steam that we've tried. There's some decent, but this one's like, the story's interesting. You can skip the story if you want.
Yeah, but
pretty much, I guess,
it's easier to understand what the story is. So it's not a direct sequel to the original Shaq Fu, but rather a retelling of the story. Yeah. Not right down to like the whole, but like it tells a different story, but goes with the whole perspective of Shaq Fu, where Shaquille O'Neal is trained to be a fighter. And it feels more natural and yet more silly. So in the original Shaq Fu, he just goes up to a shop and he gets taken to another world. Whereas in this, he's basically Moses in the basket, and he's taken into a Chinese family. So it's, in a way, and the whole setup kind of reminds me of the Jaden Smith version of Karate Kid.
Yeah, I have never saw the whole movie. I saw bits of it, but honestly, the story, if you want the story, it's a decent story. But really, it's all about the brawler, and honestly, at first I thought, are there enough characters, like enemies in this game? I thought, you know what, it really doesn't matter. It's just a fun game overall, and
there's plenty of variety to be had. I mean,
yeah, and the music's pretty good too. Main criticism is I think it would be cool if they had like a co-op or like sort of an arena match, but
yeah, it's weird that they leave that, or even like a sort of fighting section, like if not
sort of like Shaq Fu 2, like a real Shaq Fu 2.
And I mean, that's the irony of it, that the fighting game genre pretty much began with it was like a mini game for a beat 'em up.
Well, yeah, pretty much like Double Dragon started that on NES. As far as I remember, that's like the first fighting game I can think of.
So maybe it would have been like a feature they would have unlocked, or maybe they just didn't have the right programming.
I think this sold decently, as far as I know. Like, it seems like a pretty decent game. Like, I looked at the reviews, and people were giving it like, all the way from like 40% to 70%, but most people seem to like it on Metacritic. So, I definitely recommend it. I was surprised. I wanted to play this just because it's a sequel to one of the most awkward games, I would say.
One of the weirdest,
surprising games.
One of the weirdest games you could buy in an actual market and not just you look it up on like.
And it's a legit game. That's not like Rainbow Street Fighter Edition or whatever.
There was this really weird game where it was like you shoot up heads of Dao Zhongping or whatever.
Oh. Well, in terms of like unlikely releases, as we said at the beginning, it's like 20 years since the first game. The fact that this game gets a sequel is like one of the weirdest, sort of video game facts ever. But it's a lot of fun.
They basically cashed in on the irony, and yet it feels good. Like, this isn't though, then again, I'm a guy who liked Mighty Number 9, despite everyone bashing it.
Yeah, but I recommend it. If you can get it for like $5-10 for sure, maybe 15. It's pretty solid. I found it fun.
I find it really fun too. I mean, if you have a sweet tooth for comedic games where the humor's more and more tongue-in-cheek, or self-aware of itself. Not like, oh, we're in a video game, but more like You know, hey, what are we like in the Messenger? Like it's kind of like the writing in the Messenger.
It's kind of, but not as like over the top. I feel like it's not. It's more subtle.
Yeah, but not. Oh, for this game or Messenger?
This game, Messenger, I felt was like too over the top.
Yeah.
Like,
but this is
you're
like
gonna get this joke, definitely, no doubt.
Yeah, and this is more like very subtle. It still has the same cues, but it's more subtle, and it goes more than just fourth wall humor.
And there's super attacks and all sorts of things. You can pick up weapons too, but it's not as common as say like the heads you could pick up in Wolverblade or
Or even like weapons you can pick up in like other beat 'em ups.
It really, to me, ultimately, it feels like what if we had Streets of Rage, but we made it like lighter and cartoony? It really feels like Streets of Rage, like in that sense, like without the music being, sort of avant-garde as Streets of Rage 3 became.
And then you sell it as a game that stars Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah. No, the music's like kind of like lighthearted hip-hop, I guess.
Yeah, the music is really good. Like there's this, I don't want to spoil it, but there's like this really cool rendition of Beat It.
By MJ.
Yeah, and it's really fun to just listen to. I actually decided to pause the menu, to pause the game, go to settings, and then lower the sounds just so that Jim can hear just the cool music that's going on.
Yeah, because the music can sound like sort of on the same leveling, which is kind of weird, so you can't listen to both with the default settings. It's kind of strange. But all right, well, check it out. I'd definitely give it a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. It's,
8 out of 10 for me, definitely.
Yeah. All right, keep on gaming.